Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining us. My guest today is Chris Streveler, a former NFL and CFL quarterback who played 8 professional seasons, including time with our Arizona Cardinals. Today, Chris is a founding partner in Going Steady, co-founder of Ground Up QB, and a leader focused on helping people win on the field, in business, and in life. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. Wow, sounds like you've accomplished quite a bit already, and you're not slowing down. You got all sorts of great projects going.
That's just kind of the mindset as an athlete is you're never satisfied. You're always kind of looking for what's next and building for the future. And that's how I'm attacking this next chapter.
Excellent. Excellent. So before we get into Going Steady, let's talk a little bit about what brought you to Arizona and why you stayed here.
Yeah. Well, I came out to Arizona. I was playing for the Cardinals. So I started my professional career up in Canada, up in the CFL, played
Okay.
2 years there. Won a
Where?
championship my second year in 2019.
Where in
And
which team?
I played for Winnipeg Blue
Oh,
Bombers.
okay.
So
Okay.
basically right north of North Dakota, South Dakota,
Yep.
kind of right there in the prairies. So I played up there, and then after we won our championship in 19, I was getting some tryouts for NFL teams, and Arizona was one of those stops, and just kind of fell in love with it out here. I met my now fiance, and we have a 1-year-old daughter. She was working for Mayo.
Congratulations.
I would thank you, man. Yeah, so she was
Very
a
cool.
nurse out here working at Mayo. I was playing for the Cardinals, and we bought a house. And it kind of throughout my travels for the NFL, it kind of became our home base, and we put down some roots, and now we're just here.
Excellent. Excellent. And you both sort of partnered for Going Steady. Is that right?
Yeah, it's us and then 2 of our best friends. They actually came up with the idea and created the app. And then when we came back from Canada after this last season, they're like, "Hey, we're doing this. We want you guys to help launching it out in Arizona. We want you guys to be a part of this." And we were like, "Absolutely, sounds
All right.
amazing.
All
Super
right. That's
cool
fun. That's fun. And
opportunity."
it's always great when you can work with your friends. Go ahead and tell everybody what Going Steady is and
Sure.
how it came about.
So that's kind of how it came about. But Going Steady is a dating app that we're going to be launching here in Arizona in the Valley, and it's an intentional values-based dating app. This is for somebody that wants a serious relationship, that's looking for commitment, and wants to align with somebody on a deeper level than just surface face value. You share values, and kind of how that came about was we were seeing people in both of our lives who would get in long relationships, couple years, and then they get to a point where, well, somebody wants kids and somebody doesn't want kids, or
It's
somebody
something you
doesn't
should
want.
have known earlier.
Yeah, like why don't we just align on that stuff right away? That way we
Right.
don't get down the road in 3 years and be like, well, this isn't going to work actually. So we created this platform, and we're really excited to roll it out in the Valley. We've got about 500 people on our wait list right now, and the reception's been great. We're just partnering up with as many local businesses as we can to get in front of people and spread the word and spread the brand and who we are and what we're about.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So it's kind of maybe a hybrid between a couple of the more involved systems and something you can just swipe right or left based off of
Yeah.
an immediate appearance.
Yeah, I mean, we want to make it as high friction as possible because the more kind of barriers of entry you create, the more you weed out the people that aren't serious, and we want people that are serious.
Okay.
And so that's kind of how we've created the onboarding process. We also have a ton of security measures with ID verification and bot detection, which is kind of a big pain point for specifically women on these apps where they want to make sure they're meeting who they're meeting. And then the
Sure.
last thing we've also done that we've really made a point of emphasis is getting out in the community and putting on community events because it's important that we give these people a safe third space to meet outside of the app. Sometimes it's
Right.
uncomfortable for people to be like, "Hey, do you want to grab a coffee or a beer?" It's easier when it's like, "Hey, Going Steady's having an event at the end of the month. Are you going?" Right? So that's
Right.
kind of what we're doing, and we want to get people face to face. We want people interacting in person, and so we've taken a couple of these pain points from the other apps and tried to apply them as solutions to our app.
Okay. And has the app launched officially?
So we are in the App Store right now, just waiting for approval from Apple. We just got approval from Android, Google, And so, I mean, we're right on the doorstep of getting launched. Like I said, we have about 500 people on our wait list waiting to get on. And then, once we get the green light from Apple, we'll be kind of full go here in the Valley.
Okay.
We got some events lined up, and again, just trying to get in front of as many people as we can.
All right, that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
Anything else about going steady you want to share, or is there any?
No, I mean, just
Okay.
stay on the lookout, tapping with us on social media. We're just going steady. And it's called STEDDY. Yeah, just follow along. We're posting every day. We're setting up events, and every day we got new exciting things going up. So follow us on social
Okay.
media and stay on the lookout.
All right, very cool, very cool. Was that hard for, I guess, your partners maybe had the initial idea? Was this a long time brewing? Has this been a pretty smooth process, or has there been a lot of hurdles?
There's always hurdles when you're starting something from, zero.
Okay.
Especially when, I got to give so much credit to our partners, Will and Siobhan. They've never created an app and they created it themselves. So for them to create an
Okay,
app
very
from
cool.
nothing, which, is for a guy like yourself, maybe that's pretty easy, a smart guy. But for me, I don't think I could build an app from scratch. So, props to them for having the idea and following through with it and creating it. And me and my fiance Taylor are just so thankful to be a part of it, and it's been a really
Okay.
exciting journey to be, working with them.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Now transitioning a little bit over to you co-founded Ground Up QB as well. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, that's something that kind of just started out as something that was easy for me while I was still playing football. I was in between teams with the New York Jets. I signed, I'd come back in the off season, and me and my business partner Trey Anderson, who coached quarterbacks at Arizona State for a couple of years, we started training kids, and it's turned into something that I'm a lot more passionate about than I ever thought I'd be. Once we
Hmm.
started helping kids get scholarships and go to college and seeing them get to accomplish their goals, it was
Right.
really, really exciting for me to be a small piece of their journey and helping them accomplish
Yeah.
their dreams just like I got to do and getting to share that with the next
Yeah.
generation. That's
Giving
just been
back.
super
That's awesome.
fun. Exactly, man. Exactly.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. And is that local? Is it national? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much local, but we do some stuff virtually with film breakdowns, and obviously we're on social media posting that as well. But everything's pretty much local. And then, once in a while we'll have some kids coming from out of town, college kids or guys that are doing their pro day that'll come in from out of town to train with us. So, it's been exciting to kind of expand.
What's the younger age that you are involved with Ground Up?
Yeah, we'll go down to youth. I mean, um, 10 years old, 9 years old. Like, I mean, we'll train some young kids. So it's fun too when you get to train them because they're kind of out there just having fun, and you
Yeah.
teach them the basics. So how do you play that game of okay, we're gonna have fun, but I also want to teach you some stuff, and it's just so different than the world that I've been in for 8 years as a professional quarterback. Getting to kind of see it through the lens of a kid is giving me a new perspective on the game.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. That's you're very articulate and well spoken and have a lot of good positive energy. So this is sort of you've transitioned well into being more of a leader and giving back that way. Businesses. Do you have any other bigger projects coming up?
No, well, first of all, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And that's one of the things I've kind of centered around my life after football is starting to try to amplify my voice as a leader and as I do a bunch of public speaking as well. I've
Nice.
done some broadcasting and football content, so trying to share my knowledge of the game. And also as a quarterback, especially a professional for 8 years, I mean, you go through a lot of adversities, you learn a lot about yourself, you learn a lot about leadership. And so I love getting to share that with kids, other leaders, business people. So that's something that I've also kind of fell into that I've kind of become passionate about. I've got a lot of positive reception on social media, just sharing tidbits from my journey and my mindset. So that's kind of the other piece of things that
Right.
I'm also working on.
Okay, awesome. Did you have some pretty good mentors and role models that helped you along too, that you're sort of
Oh
that you
man.
learned from?
There's just been so many people along my journey. Like one of the things that I've always tried to do is just grab bits and pieces from different people. I mean, I've been in rooms with so many legendary people that, just have so much knowledge to offer. And so I've always just tried to be a sponge everywhere I go just to soak up, hey, what do you do to make yourself successful? Hey, what's your process look like? I love asking questions and just
Nice.
trying to get in people's hip pocket and learn from them.
That's that's some some wisdom there because a lot of people have a big attitude, right? Which is part of being successful too, is you have to be confident, but knowing that there's still a lot to learn out there is gold. So
Well,
congratulations on.
it's funny you say that because I had a strength coach with the Cardinals. His name's Buddy Morris, and anyone that's in the strength coaching world knows Buddy Morris. Like this guy is a legend. He's probably in his 60s, and one of the things that always impressed me about him as a young professional was like this guy is a legend in what he does, and he's always learning new things. He's always
Right.
trying to find that new piece. And so that's something that has stuck with me throughout my career is like you're never too old or too good to keep learning. You're always looking to get better. And how do I move the needle? Because if you're not getting better, you're staying the same or you're getting worse, and the guy behind you is catching up to you. So that's kind of always
Yep.
been my mindset. And that's just one guy that comes to mind right away. But I've seen so many people along my journey that have taught me things like that.
Okay. Well, again, kudos for staying curious and growth minded. Um, what are maybe some of the challenges or misconceptions you've had to deal with?
Well, oh man, challenges we could go on and on. I mean, I've been cut from the NFL 5 times in a matter of a year. I'm actually recovering from my second torn ACL in 2 years. I
Oof.
tore my ACL 2 years in a row. I've had to move around. I found out my fiance was pregnant when I was up in Canada, and we spent basically the entire pregnancy apart because I was up in Canada
Oof.
playing football. So, I
Yeah.
mean, the situations that I've gone through playing football have given me an extremely unique perspective on life and leadership and just who I am as a person and how I show up in adverse moments and how I show up for the people around me and focus on things I can control. So, man, that's we could go on and on about that forever. But ultimately, I'm just thankful for the journey and the lessons and all the ups and downs because it's made me who I am today, and it's given me a perspective that I believe is going to make me successful beyond the field.
For sure, for sure. Is that one of the things that you think sets you apart maybe from your cohorts, right? Is that something that comes easier to you?
Yeah, I think that's probably a misconception about athletes is that, maybe football players are dumb or, they things like that. But like, I just think that to make it to the NFL,
Hmm.
that is the 1% of the 1%. And that
For
takes a
sure.
certain work ethic, that takes a certain mindset. And I think where athletes get a stigma a lot of the time is they just don't know how to apply that mindset to the next thing. And when you're in a professional setting, when you're a professional football player, your whole day is so structured. You're told where to be at what time, and all you got to do is show up and give effort. And so that takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. And for me, in the moments I've been away from the game, there's no structure. So how do I apply that same mindset and that same work ethic in a structured way outside of those team
Right.
regiments, right? And I think that's where a lot of athletes get tripped up. But thankfully, there's so many organizations now who are trying to get in front of athletes and help them network, as we talked about before we got on the call, with other business
Right.
people and people who are successful because ultimately people want to meet athletes. Like they think it's cool to be around an NFL player. So use that platform, use the fact that people just naturally want to talk to you to parlay that into business opportunities and give yourself a chance to be successful after the game ends.
Right. Right. Truth. So, do you have any tips for anyone else who's other athletes or up and coming entrepreneurs?
You know what, man? I mean, look, I'm not extremely successful as an entrepreneur. I'm always reaching for the next thing. But what I would say is actually exactly what I put up on social media today. Get some shots up. And what I mean by that is don't be afraid to go say hi to somebody. Don't be afraid to just go shake a hand and introduce yourself. What's the worst that can happen? Like you
Right.
don't hit it off or they say not interested. Okay, whatever. Like we've all been told no. And as an athlete, you've been through worse things than somebody saying, oh, not interested or sorry, buddy. Like, so shoot that shot, man. Go tell somebody who you are. Go tell somebody what you're doing because if you don't do that, then you never know who they know or what those connections can come to. And
Right.
you kind of talked about it before we got on how important networking's been in your journey as well.
Mhm.
So I would just encourage all athletes to use that platform as much as they can.
Okay. Excellent. Great advice. Great advice. Um, let's talk a little bit about besides launching the app here coming up, some of the other goals for yourself or your companies or things like that for maybe just 2026 or even beyond.
Yeah. You know what, man? I would just say generally, I just want to help as many people as I can and get in front of as many people as I can. My journey and my story is very relatable, and so getting to share my experiences as an athlete, although I did make it to the NFL, it's not like I was like the first round guy or the 5-star guy. I've always kind of had to grind and scratch and claw for anything I've ever gotten, and I think a lot of people can relate to what that looks like. And when I talk about helping people, we're talking about going steady, helping people find healthy relationships and find balance in their life, and helping men become better leaders so they can be better in their relationship, and
Right.
helping young quarterbacks and leaders. And so that's what I love to do. I love to share my perspective, and I love to learn from others. And I'd love to just get in front of as many people as I can, and through that, help others and grow myself.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have any other big projects planned at the moment?
You know what, man? We talked about real estate a little bit before we got on. I met a guy out here a couple months ago. I think we're gonna probably do a little fix and flip out here. I've got an investment property out in Gilbert. I also own a house in North Scottsdale. So that's something I'm starting to dip the toes into is real estate and some investing. And I've done some social media stuff for a local developer. And so, I'm kind of starting to network in that world as well because I've always been super interested about real estate. And it's something that I'd love to continue to learn about and kind of get
It's
my
pretty
feet.
awesome.
Yeah. Well, hey, dude, you've been here 20 years too, so I'm sure you've
Yep.
gotten in at some good times and seen it grow, and I gotta imagine you've done pretty well.
Yeah. Thank you. There's been some ups and downs, but yes, I've come out pretty good, so that's
Yeah.
been good.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so about that though, let's talk a little bit about that in terms of transitioning and uh, some athletes. Uh, is there coaching for athletes when when they hit the pros and when they exit?
In terms of like life beyond the field.
Sure, so, saving it. I was playing poker with a friend of mine. I don't. I won't say names. His NBA team was in town, and we were at his house playing after the game, and he was telling stories about some of the guys about I don't know, on the Knicks or something else, and
Yeah.
and like one of the guys didn't trust banks, and every other hotel, he'd leave his bag of like 80,000 in cash in the hotel room, and the maid would find it and have to send it to the next place and stuff. Some of them just didn't have trust for the system, maybe. I don't know, but
Yeah.
they just and you see, unfortunately, a lot of people they're not planning for the future anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think when you talk about athletes planning for the future, and I can speak to this directly, you hear so many people tell you, oh, it can end at any moment. It can end at any time. But when you're in it, you just don't see it like that. And for me, like I'll tell you a little short story about my journey. I was with the Cardinals for a couple years, got released, was with the Ravens for a little bit, got released, Dolphins, got released, signed with the Jets. Go out, I had an unbelievable preseason. I led three straight fourth quarter comebacks, had five touchdowns, one of the best preseasons potentially ever, to quote my head coach. And so I make the team. I'm on the team for a little bit of time, and I'm there all year. Then the next year, I sign $1 million contract. First time I've ever done that. And I'm like, wow, I'm in a great position to make this team. First preseason game, I go out, dislocate my thumb on my throwing hand, chip off a little bit of bone, tear a ligament, and I get released. And I sit at home for a whole year,
Uh,
and I didn't get a call, and I didn't make a dollar of that money. So thankfully, I had had good people around me in the locker room who had said, "Hey, you should buy a house. Hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do," and I
okay.
did it. But I could see why a lot of athletes get in trouble because, you're making minimum on an NFL roster. When I was making minimum, 600,000, so you're making 25,000 a week after taxes. Like you could feel like that would never end. And then when it does end, it's like, oh no, I have to adjust my life. And so I can empathize with athletes when they do get into trouble in that sense. Now, the good side of it is there are so many resources, man, through the
Okay.
NFL, the NFLPA. They are trying to put people in front of you. They mandate
Right.
some of these
Good.
programs. And that's just stuff within the league. Outside of the league, I've become a part of two different organizations. One's called PAC, Pro Athlete Community. Actually, might be something you might be interested in, or some of your network. They're coming out to Scottsdale and they're doing like a pros and CEOs 3-day event out here where a bunch of networking with professional athletes across all leagues. They do a little golf tournament, they do a little business symposium, and there's a lot of
Cool.
education and networking. So I've been a part of that. I've been to three of their events. And there's another event out in New York City that's actually run through the NFL. And it's called Biz Week, and it's through an organization called Athletes and Us that I've been a part of as well. Went out there last year for 3 days, saw some real estate projects, talked to some people about venture capital, just kind of learned quite a bit. And again,
Right.
network with other players and business people. So long-winded answer, but there's a lot of resources out there, and I would just, again, encourage athletes and business people to tap into those.
Excellent, for sure, for sure. That's good advice. I'm really glad to hear that that because right, there's not a lot of financial education up in the most athletes' background. I mean, as a biomedical person, I can speak to us as well. There's not a lot of financial education there either, and a lot of physicians I know. About a third of my investors are physicians, and we're a physician household. Uh, Lifestyle creep is real, right? And there's not a lot. You think you're gonna just keep making bank forever, and you gotta put some structure to it.
Totally, totally. And it's important to have the people around you that encourage you to do those right things. Otherwise, you might look up one day and be like, "Oh, I'm in trouble right now."
For sure, for sure. All right, Chris, tell me about 2025. Was there anything big there that sort of changed your life?
Yeah, I had my daughter. So my daughter was born. So that
Nice.
definitely
Okay, yeah, it
changed.
does.
And man, that's something that I'm sure every parent can attest to just how much that changes your life. And for me, it was such a special year because she got to see me play football. And I don't know how much football is going to be left in my life. At this point, it's not looking like very much. So to get to have those pictures with her and get to so she could see her dad play, even though she won't remember it. One of my fondest memories is our opening game this year. I started the game and we won and we had a great game. And the next day in the paper, they had a big picture blown up in this at the front of the sports section with me, my fiance, and our daughter,
Ah,
just doing
sweet.
an article about how many dads we had on our team because we had an old team. And so I got it framed in my office. I'm looking at it right now, and it's one of the things I'm most proud of, getting to share that bit of my journey with her.
Yeah, awesome. That's. It sounds like you already have a few sort of legacy projects in the works, right? I mean, your ground up QB alone is having an impact beyond yourself, and
Yeah.
that'll go for it, and they'll pay it forward as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. It's always funny, man. It took me a while for to get used to kids calling me coach because I was always, a
Who's that?
player.
Where? Which coach is here?
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think of myself as coach, but then, they tell me they were born in 2012, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I am. I am coach to you, dude. Like I'm not your friend. We're different.
Yep.
So it's been fun, and again, just getting to share their journeys with them, and I just try to keep in touch with as many of them as possible. Like, hey, man, I'm here
Nice.
as a resource for you. Any situation that you could possibly be going through in your career, there's about a 99% chance I've also experienced that. So lean on me. I'm here as a resource. And, any way I can help these kids, man, they all know how
Very
much I
cool.
care about them.
Awesome. That's great, Chris. Very cool. All right. Reflection question. What do you wish you would have known sooner about wealth and success earlier in your career?
Hmm. Well, I'll say this. I wish I would have maximized on my platform even sooner. I wish I would have
Ah,
been doing social media
the Chris
in
Streveler brand.
Yeah, and I mean, as an athlete, it's very easy to mass a following on social media, and I didn't necessarily start doing social media very much until, I was probably on like my second to last year in the NFL, and I wish I would have been
Okay.
doing it the whole time. So that's kind of the one thing that I look back on, like,
Ah, okay.
or you look back in like 2012, and it's like, dude, I should have been buying houses in Scottsdale. What was I doing? It's a
Yeah,
junior,
that too.
high school. Yeah, I should have been saving money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Okay. Well, Chris, if people would like to connect, learn more, where should they go? What should they do for ground up, for going steady, all
Yeah,
that?
I mean, if you just hit me on Instagram or social media, it's just C Strevy and then the number five. You can follow me on there. I'm on TikTok. I'm on uh, Twitter or whatever it's called now. I'm on pretty much everything. So if you want to get in touch with me too, just shoot me a message and we can set up a time to connect. I'm always looking to connect with people, and that's kind of how we ended up here. So
Okay.
I'm thankful for the opportunity, and anyone that wants to reach out about anything I'm doing, all that's linked in my bio on all my social media, and just shoot me a message.
All right. All right. Is there a ground up QB site?
Yep, groundupqb.com.
Okay.
And again, that social media is all linked in my Instagram as well.
All right. And everybody keep an eye out for Going Steady, the app. All right. Well,
That's
thank
right.
you. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Thank you very much, Chris Streveler, for joining me today and sharing your insights into the football and entrepreneurship here in the Valley.
Thank you, Tim.
Inspired by our guests? Visit phoenixprosperitypodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.